Hello and welcome to the Thursday, October 23rd, 2025 edition of the SANS Internet Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich, recording today from Jacksonville, Florida. And this episode is brought to you by the SANS.edu Graduate Certificate Program in Industrial Control Systems Security. Our honeypots again caught a newish exploit, and this one targets URL webctrl.cgi that's typically associated with the Blue Angel software suite. This is embedded software. It's often found in customer premise equipment like routers, voice over IP equipment and such. That often uses this software made by 5V Technologies. So it's not really sort of a household name, or you may not necessarily know that your particular device runs on this software. The problem here is a basic OS command injection vulnerability that's very typical for this kind of equipment. A lot of times they do have a debug feature that allows you to ping hosts from the device. You, of course, need to provide an IP address or a host name that's then passed on the command line as part of the ping command. Well, if you're not careful, and that apparently is what happened here, there is the possibility of injecting additional operating system commands. So very classic vulnerability. I had a little bit of a hard time assigning it an exact CVE, and I'm actually not sure if I got the right one here. This July, there was a new CVE found in this particular software suite, CVE 2025-34033. Very similar to the description to what we are seeing here. However, the description of this CVE suggests a GET request and also uses a slightly different parameter name for the actual vulnerable parameter. But overall looks sort of like the same vulnerability. Possibly also in some other equipment. All these types of equipment are very similar to each other, so it's sometimes really difficult to find the perfect match here for the CVE. If someone knows a better match, well, please let me know. And Oracle released its quarterly critical patch update, or CPU, for October 2025. This particular update fixes 374 different vulnerabilities across Oracle's entire product portfolio. I counted about 135, I think it was, affected products. Oracle's portfolio is rather large. Of course, big attention this month on Oracle e-Business Suite, if there's anything new here. Now, the early patches that we received over the last couple of weeks are not included in this critical patch update. Instead, we got a total of 9 new vulnerabilities here in Oracle e-Business Suite. 2 of them are critical with a CVSS base score of 9.8. Overall, there are a number of additional 9.8 vulnerabilities here across the different Oracle products. Many of them are related to a vulnerability in SQLite. So this is a known vulnerability in SQLite that is now being patched in Oracle's products who are using this open source database. Other than that, nothing really too outrageously critical here that I can tell. Like I said, there are these 9.8 vulnerabilities, but aside from that, yes, a patch, of course, but as always, these Oracle patches you want to treat with care and not just rush them out, but carefully test them. And we have yet another vulnerability in a library that deals with tar files. The vulnerability itself is actually not really that remarkable. We had this in other libraries too. There is sort of a fundamental problem with tar files. They're sort of redundant ways to specify the content of the file, either with the use star or a PAX header. The problem is if they don't agree, then it's possible to essentially smuggle files in and overwrite arbitrary files if the software untarring and expanding the tar file isn't dealing carefully with this mismatching information. Like I said, this has happened in other languages as well. couple interesting things about this particular case. First of all, it's in a Rust library. Now, Rust is advertised as a more security-focused language, and it is more security-focused when it comes to memory management. Any other vulnerabilities like these logic issues we have here with parsing these tar file headers, well, Rust is really neutral in that respect and not any worse or better than any other language. The other problem here, and that's sadly a somewhat common problem, is that the affected libraries here are no longer maintained. So async-tar is no longer maintained. Tokyo-tar is no longer maintained. And with that, of course, it becomes really difficult to fix these flaws, in particular, since these libraries are very widely used in various software products. Now, the discoverer here did a good job in notifying affected software, and then basically it's up to the users to then patch the particular library in their particular product. I hope that this will also kind of lead to the project being revived, maybe. The other thing here is also, if you are creating any kind of open source project, any project like this, try to add the contact information where someone can reach out in case of a security issue. For GitHub, there's like the security.md file that's often being used. There is the famous security.txt file on websites that I still don't really see as widely used as it should be used. So make sure researchers who find these vulnerabilities can find you. Should it have had a special name here, Tarmageddon, and the logo? Probably not, but still good work here by the researchers, in particular when it came to disclosure of this vulnerability. Well, and that's it for today. So thanks for listening. Thanks for liking and subscribing to this podcast, and talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.